Have you ever laid in bed at night and told yourself, tomorrow, I'm going to change? And then tomorrow came, and nothing changed. You set the alarm, you bought the journal, you downloaded the app, you had the plan. But when the moment actually came, you didn't move. And then came the worst part. You didn't just fail. You told yourself a story. I'm lazy. I have no willpower. I'm just not built for this. But here's what I want you to hear today. The problem is not you. The problem is that nobody ever told you the real hidden reasons why discipline feels impossible. And that's exactly what we're breaking down today. Every single one of them. Plus what actually works. Let's get into it. The first hidden reason is something science has proven, but nobody ever taught us in school. Your brain, the same brain you are counting on to be disciplined, is literally wired to avoid discomfort. It's not a character flaw, it's neuroscience. Here's what's happening inside your head every single morning. You wake up and your prefrontal cortex, the planning, logical part of your brain, says, okay, let's go. We have goals, let's work out, let's get focused. But at the exact same time, your limbic system, the emotional, survival-driven part, says, no, stay here. This bed is warm. That task is hard. Let's just check our phone. And more often than not, the limbic system wins. Why? Because it's ancient. It's been wired over millions of years of evolution to protect you from pain and keep you safe. And in that ancient wiring, discomfort equals danger. So your brain does what it's always done. It pulls you away from anything hard. This is called the instant gratification bias, and it's not a weakness, it's your biology. Now here's where most people make their biggest mistake. They wait for motivation. They think, once I feel inspired, I'll get moving. But motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go. You cannot build a consistent life on something that shows up randomly. Real discipline doesn't need motivation to show up. It needs something else entirely, and we'll get to that in just a minute. First, let's talk about the second hidden reason, because this one, almost nobody talks about it.
The second hidden reason is emotional exhaustion, and it's probably the most underrated reason discipline fails. Let me ask you something. Is there always something running in the back of your mind? A financial worry? A relationship that's draining you? A past failure you haven't processed? A fear you keep pushing down? That background noise has a cost, a very real, very measurable cost on your mental energy. Research shows that we make roughly 35,000 decisions every single day, and every decision, no matter how small, burns a little bit of your willpower. Scientists call this decision fatigue. By the time you need to make the important decision, go to the gym, say no to junk food, sit down and work, your brain is already running on empty. Now imagine carrying an unprocessed emotional wound on top of all of that. A loss you never grieved, anger you never expressed, anxiety you've been suppressing for years. A lot of people don't struggle with discipline because they're lazy. They struggle because they are exhausted from the inside out, and they don't even realize it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot consistently discipline yourself out of a wound that needs to be healed. So what do? You take an honest look inward. Ask yourself, is there something draining my energy that I've been ignoring? A conversation I need to have? A feeling I need to process? Because when you address the emotional weight you've been carrying, something incredible happens. Space opens up, clarity returns, and discipline, real discipline, starts to feel possible again.
The third hidden reason is your environment. And honestly, this might be the most powerful one on this list.
You've probably heard the quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." But here's what people don't say. You are also the average of your 5 most used apps, your most watched content, and the physical space you spend your day in. If your environment is designed for distraction, discipline becomes a constant uphill battle. You're fighting your phone, your notifications, your couch, your fridge, the people around you who maybe aren't growing. You're fighting all of it, all day long. Here's a stat that should stop you cold. After your focus is interrupted, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully get back to deep concentration. 23 minutes. Now think about how many times your phone buzzes in an hour. You're not failing at discipline. You're failing at fighting a system that was specifically designed by billion-dollar companies to keep you distracted. The solution is to stop fighting your environment and start designing it. What does that look like? If you want to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in your house. Make the bad choice harder. If you want to read more, put your book on your pillow every night. Make the good choice easier. If you want to work without distractions, put your phone in a different room. Not face down, not on silent, in a different room. Discipline flows naturally when your environment is designed to support it. The goal isn't to be stronger than your temptations. The goal is to set up your world so that temptations barely show up in the first place. The fourth hidden reason might be the most important mindset shift in this entire video. Most of us learned what discipline looks like from Instagram and YouTube. And the picture we were sold goes something like this. Wake up at 5 a.m., ice-cold shower, 2-hour workout, no social media, perfectly clean diet, never miss a day. If you can't do all of that, you failed. This is not discipline. This is perfectionism dressed up as discipline. And perfectionism is the enemy of progress. Here's the difference, and I want you to really hear this. Perfectionism says, if I can't do it all the way, what's the point? Consistency says, I'll do what I can today, and I'll show up again tomorrow. Research backs this up over and over. 10 minutes of exercise every single day beats a 2-hour workout once a week, every time. Why? Because of compounding. Small, consistent actions stack on top of each other and build something enormous over time. But when you miss one day and say, I ruined everything, I might as well quit, you're playing a game that nobody wins. That's the perfectionism trap. And most people are stuck in it without even realizing it. Here's a better way to think about it. Don't ask yourself, did I complete my full routine today? Ask yourself, did I show up today? Even in the smallest way. Did you do 10 push-ups when you had planned a full workout? That counts. Did you drink 1 extra glass of water? That counts. Did you read 1 page instead of 30? That still counts. Progress is not all or nothing. Progress is just showing up. Every day. In whatever way you can. The fifth hidden reason is the deepest one. And most people will never admit it, but I want you to really sit with this. What if part of you is actually afraid of succeeding? I know, sounds backwards, but stay with me. Your brain is obsessed with one thing above almost everything else, keeping you the same. Because sameness feels safe, and change, even positive change, feels like a threat. Here's how it plays out. You've been telling yourself a story about who you are for years. I'm the person who always starts strong and falls off. Or, nobody in my family has ever really made it. Or, I've always been the unorganized one. These stories become your identity. And when discipline starts working, when you actually start changing, your brain panics. Because if you change, who are you? Will your old friends still relate to you? Will you lose something familiar? Will people treat you differently? This is called self-sabotage, and it shows up right at the moment things start going well. You break the diet. You skip the gym. You pick a fight. Not because you're weak, but because your subconscious is desperately trying to pull you back to who you've always been. The way out of this is not trying harder. The way out is changing your identity first. Before the actions change, the story has to change. Start telling yourself, I am someone who shows up for myself every day. Not I'm trying to. Not I want to be. Say it like it's already true, because identity shapes behavior more than any plan ever will. Say it enough times, mean it, and watch how your actions start to follow.
Okay, so now you know the 5 hidden reasons. Let's talk about what actually works. I'm not going to give you a motivational speech. I'm going to give you 5 real, practical things you can start doing, starting today. Number 1, design your environment, not your willpower. Stop relying on self-control. Start engineering your surroundings. Keep your workout clothes next to your bed. Put your phone charger in a different room. Delete the apps that steal your time. Stock your kitchen with food that serves your goals. Make the right choice, the easy choice, everywhere you look. Number 2, use the 2-minute rule. For any task you keep avoiding, commit to just 2 minutes. That's it. Want to work out? Just put your shoes on. Want to write? Just open the document. Want to read? Just read the first paragraph. Starting is always the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum takes over. Your brain shifts into motion, and staying in motion becomes easier than stopping. Number 3, change your identity before you change your actions. Instead of saying, I need to work out, say, I'm someone who takes care of their body. Instead of, I should read more, say, I'm a reader. Identity-based habits stick because they're personal. They're about who you are, not just what you do. Number 4, protect your emotional energy. You can't outwork inner chaos. If something is quietly draining you, address it. Journal. Talk to someone you trust. Give yourself permission to feel what you've been pushing down. When your inner world is clear, discipline doesn't feel like a fight anymore. Number 5, be ruthlessly compassionate with yourself. When you fall off, and you will, because we all do, don't spiral. Don't call yourself a failure. Just say, okay, that happened. Tomorrow, I show up again. The most disciplined people on earth aren't the ones who never slip. They're the ones who recover the fastest. Here's the bottom line. Discipline isn't a punishment you give yourself. It's an act of love you give your future self.
So, let's bring it all together. Discipline feels impossible, not because you're weak, but because of 5 hidden forces working against you every single day. Your brain is biologically wired to choose comfort. Your emotional weight drains the energy you need. Your environment pulls your focus in 1,000 directions. You've been chasing a perfectionistic version of discipline that no one can sustain. And deep down, part of you is scared of becoming someone new. But now you have the map, and with the right tools, designing your environment, using the 2-minute rule, building identity-based habits, protecting your emotional energy, and giving yourself grace when you fall, discipline stops feeling impossible. It starts feeling like the most natural thing in the world. Here's the one thing I want you to do before you go to sleep tonight. Grab a piece of paper or open your notes app and write down one small thing you will do tomorrow. Not a whole new life plan, just one thing. 10 minutes of movement, 1 glass more of water, 1 page of a book. Do that one thing.
That's where it starts. If this video hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Like it, subscribe, and drop a comment below telling me what's the biggest thing that's been getting in the way of your discipline. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.